This is going to be our video looking at some of the more common plant families that we'll want to know for foraging. We will be going over these in more detail as the mentorship goes on, so don't worry about memorizing these right now. You don't need to figure all of them out in this one video. I just want to give you an idea of some of the more common plants, and then we'll look at them further as we go along. One of the beauties of looking at these plants throughout the season is that you'll get repetition. So if you didn't get it one time, you'll hear it again, you'll see it again. These plants are out there, and just keep noticing the plants. So our first plant family that we're looking at is the mint family. Now the mint family is Lamiaceae. A-C-E-A-E. It means family. So it's the Lamia family, Lamiaceae, mint family. And these plants you can think of are your basils and your spearmint and lots of different herbs that we use, but they have alternate leaves, they have opposite leaves. So opposite leaves, their stem is squared. So if you take their stem and spin it in your fingers, you'll feel that they have four edges. So square stem, opposite leaves, and the most obvious part is if you crush up their leaves and smell them, they have a very strong aroma. The flowers are irregular. So if you think of a daisy, that's a regular flower, you can split it multiple ways and they'll still be symmetrical. Whereas these are irregular flowers, so you can only divide them one way and they'll be symmetrical. You can't divide them vertically or any other way. The next plant family that's fairly common, and it's good to know, is the parsley family, also known as the carrot family, and this is the Apiaceae family. Now these have compound umbels. Now you can think of that as an umbrella. So you open up your umbrella, it has one stalk, many little branches coming out, one from a center point. So it has one stalk, many branches coming out from the center for the flower, and at the end of those branches you have the same thing happen. Stalk, and then many branches coming out. You can think of your carrot, the carrot flower, if you've ever seen that. Members of these are your parsleys, a lot of seeds, so caraway, fennel, things like that. You also have very poisonous members of that family, which we'll go over, but hemlock, poison hemlock, not the tree hemlock, but hemlock and water hemlock are in that plant family. So this is one that before you go foraging, you really want to be careful just knowing what your identification is and preferably knowing what some of those poisonous plants are. So we'll look at those as we move forward. One of my favorite plant families, because they are, as far as I know, all edible, is the mustard family. Now, this is a broccoli family, and the flowers on this plant family have 4 petals and 6 stamen, 2 of which are shorter than the other 4. You begin to get a good eye for them. If you've ever had a garden or gone by a garden, you can notice these flowers pretty commonly. They're often early successional plants, so they come quickly after a disturbance. And they also often have a kind of sulfury, mustardy smell. So that smell that you get when you crush up when you crush up any sort of like broccoli or mustard or anything like that. That kind of sulfury compound smell. A lot of them have that. Pea family. So this is your bean family. They have that classic banner, wing, and keel. So there's the banner, little wings that come off the edge, and then keel that come off the bottom. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up online. Just look up pea family, pea flower, and you can recognize this pretty easily. That flower is more northern latitude flowers. They're the mimosa family, or mimosas, which have a much different flower. It's almost like a central point with a lot of different flowers radiating off of it. That's also grouped into the pea family because of the leaf shape, but that is kind of the Eurocentric nitty-gritty of botany, where a lot of people were coming from Europe, going to these other countries and naming these plant families. A lot of tropical botanists will argue that the mimosa family should be its own family because there are actually more types of flowers that are in that family than the ones that have the banner, wing, and keel. But for our purposes, for now, banner, wing, and keel, and then often has compound leaves. The lily family, which you will be reading about this week, has 3 sepals and 3 petals in identical size and color. So in the last video, I mentioned how sepals, the part of the flower that are on the outside of the flower, are often green. For the lily family, they're the same color. Grass family, you will kind of get an eye for grass family. There's some that you would think are in the grass family but aren't, but grasses, they're monocots, so they have that one leaf on the seed. They have parallel veins, and yeah, they have hollow stems with knee-like nodes or joints. I guess I'll add this in here now. We'll hear it again, but there's grasses, sedges, and rushes. They can all look fairly similar, but sedges have edges, rushes are round, grasses are hollow. Either what have you got around, or put it away before the cops come around. So sedges have edges, rushes are round, grasses are hollow. What do you have around? Rose family, this is a really good one. This is our most important temperate family fruit. So these flowers have 5 petals and numerous stamens within those petals. You can think of your rose, not the cultivated rose that has lots and lots of petals. They have actually bred those pistils to evolve back into petals. So you can kind of see that reverse evolution going on there. But if you see like a beach rose or an apple flower, they have the 5 petals, many stamens. Those are, in that family you have roses, apples, pears, peach, plum, apricot, blackberry, raspberry, lots of different awesome plants, strawberries. And then the final one for right now is the aster family. So aster family, I like to think of it as imagining an asteroid hit the center of a flower and just exploded out. So your sunflowers, daisies, echinacea, lots and lots of flowers. This is our second most common plant family. So it has the most number of species in it, at least for temperate regions, and second most in the world. Yeah, you can think of your dandelions for these kinds of flowers. So those are the 8 more common plant families. There's some different ones that I like to use for foraging, but just hear those, get an idea. You'll see a lot of them, so when you're looking at these, you can think about these as your go-tos. But go over those. They're on pages 20 and 21. Just look at them, get an eye for them. That's it. We'll come back to them.